ever yearned to visit your ancestors' homeland? You know, even though my husband Bill and I had the opportunity last year with our trip to England, where we made our way to all the significant villages in his family tree, the truth is we were just visiting. To really walk in our ancestors' shoes, it takes more time to live side by side the folks in the town, to do the daily chores, and even, of course, most importantly, to gain the trust of those who have the answers that we're looking for. Well, travel author Jennifer Wilson, along with her husband Jim and their 2 kids, did just that. They packed up, wrangled the necessary visas, and spent 4 months living in the village of Jen's ancestors, Mirkopai, Croatia. Jen documents their experiences and adventures in her book called Running Away to Home, Our Family's Journey to Croatia in Search of Who We Are, Where We Came From, and What Really Matters. And I'm so pleased to have joining me today on the podcast to tell us all about the experience firsthand, Jennifer Wilson. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for having me on.
Did you and Jim just wake up one day and decide to live in Croatia for a while? I mean, how does something like that happen?
Well, you know, it was kind of something like that. I mean, the last of my immigrant relatives passed away in the summer of 2008, and I was the only relative who was interested in inheriting her personal papers. And in them, Sister Paula, she was a nun, wrote that her family came from a little village in Croatia called Mirkopai. You know, it was all just this sort of blessed coincidence that Mirkopai just began to obsess me. And I shared with Jim that, you know, it would be interesting if we started talking about going back to where we started from in a very, very basic way.
Hi, I'm Louise Cooke, and you're listening to an excerpt from my interview with Jennifer Wilson, author of Running Away to Home, from episode number 129 of the Genealogy Gems podcast. In this in-depth and personal interview, Jennifer shares what it meant to her to meet the people of the little town in Croatia that her ancestors had left nearly 100 years ago, and what it meant to the people of Mirkopai.
When I started making those connections, and I was so excited, and I felt a certain gravity, seeing my own roots sort of unfold in front of me. I mean, that was huge. It was, you know, daily moments of tears when you sort of realize where you are from, physically, emotionally, geographically, all of those things.
O Mario, liep si cvijet, tebe štuje cijeli svijet.
They're saying that Maria is a beautiful flower and that everybody loves her. Why are you crying? She likes the song.
What I didn't have any idea was going to happen was that it meant a lot to the people of Mirkopai and the parish, the county, who we met as a result of our searching. It meant a lot to them, too. And I didn't count on that at all. I got almost the feeling that they felt they had been forgotten, and now they weren't anymore. And that was so humbling to me. I mean, I can't put words to it. It was so touching, and it had a lot of gravity, those moments.
Jennifer will share her genealogical discoveries and why she thinks everyone could benefit from knowing more about their family history.
Genealogy, digging around in your past, is not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. And I've actually had people say, well, you know, I would love to look into my family history, but, you know, our family came from this country or this country, and we just don't want to know what happened. And I thought, you know, that's so sad, because if you don't know what happened, then how do you know you're going to avoid letting that happen in your own country or letting that happen in your own city? You know, we should know. It never hurts to know more about where you came from, what brought you here. I mean, those things you shouldn't be afraid of that stuff. I mean, it's all part of how you got here.
It's a compelling look at the impact of family history on our hearts and minds. I hope you'll join me for Genealogy Gems podcast episode number 129. Available at iTunes and at genealogygems.com.